Hello, I'm Cole Spivey, and I will be working now on reading from the New York Times again. I've done a few readings already if you follow my post. So we're in a new place, and I'm a big New York Times supporter. Now, Iran's show, oh, by the way, just wanted to make a real kind of point here about my readings of the New York Times. Now, if you'll notice in my past readings, because how my life was situated in my schedule, my readings were very long, and it was the whole freaking article about the New York Times, showed pictures and everything. Not going to do that as much. So these are just kind of quick introductions of a story that's published on the New York Times. So it's not going to be that long to let you know. Iran's show of influence in Iraq. A two-day standoff at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad involving thousands of pro-Iranian protesters demonstrated how much power Tehran wields within Iraq. The protesters dispersed on Wednesday at the urging of the leaders of the Iranian-backed militias who had organized the demonstrations. The leaders later said the withdrawal was conditioned on a commitment from the Iraq Prime Minister, Adel Abdul Mahdi, to move ahead with legislation to force American troops to withdraw. Catch up. In retaliation for a rocket attack that killed an American contractor, the U.S. launched airstrikes against an Iraqi militia that's supported by Iran, killing at least 24 people. Iraqis' anger then turned back on the U.S., leading to the siege at the embassy compound. What's next? Secretary of State Mike Pompeo canceled a trip to Ukraine and 4 other nations in order to monitor the tensions in Iraq. Okay? So this is more of what I'm going to call catch-up, or what's next for the New York Times. It'll be entitled, of course, their title here, which is Iran's Show of Influence in Iraq. So what I'm going to do with this is most likely I'm going to put one of the writers that's associated. There's on the morning briefing of the New York Times, it does say Happy New Year and welcoming the first morning brief of 2020. My new rock album too, or alternative rock album, sorry. Throwing that in there. Sorry, New York Times. We're covering the aftermath of the siege at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, which is going on. Mysterious drone sightings in the Great Plains and the deaths of 2 major sport figures. And this is all by Chris Stanford, who is the writer, and I'll show a picture of him and a picture right here. It's Chris Stanford, and here's the photo that they're showing of the siege. Iraqi security forces were deployed outside the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad on Wednesday. And that's a Getty image. Thank you, and this is Cole Spivey, actor, filmmaker, poet, musician, just reading from the New York Times.